Hey guys, it's Crate with Manual. I'm going to show you how to use the Manual Coffeemaker Nº3 to make a pot of French press coffee. So to start off, you need the Manual Coffeemaker Nº3, specifically the pitcher and the French press plunger. And then of course you need ground coffee. I ground this somewhat coarsely. This is 60 grams. Hot water. This was boiling a couple minutes ago, so I had a couple minutes to cool down, bring it down the temperature a little bit. And then of course a spoon to kind of help with stirring and scooping, and then a towel because you never know when you might make a mess. So let's jump in. So first thing you want to do is add the coffee to the coffee maker, and then simply add the water. So in this case, I have 60 grams of ground coffee in here. I can place a scale underneath if I want to be really accurate. Otherwise, I know that with that much coffee, I want to hit somewhere in the middle of the handle. If I were to use 80 grams, I'd go right up to the top. If I were to use 40, I'd go right down to the bottom of the handle. So we add the water until we get just about to the midway point. That looks good. And then you'll see inside there that half of the grinds are submerged, half are not. So you do want to give it a gentle stir just to get all the grinds mixed together with the water. And once you've done that, it's time to wait. I like to put the top on, but because of the double wall, you don't have to. It'll hold its temperature quite nicely over the time you wait. And usually it's to taste, but I like to wait about 4 minutes. Some people do a little less, some people do a little more. There's really no right answer, it's to your taste. So we're gonna give this 4 minutes and we'll come back in a second. Okay, so it's been about 4 minutes and now's the time for some action. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is take the lid off the French press and place it to the side. And you'll see on top there's a whole bunch of floating coffee that's still there. You could go ahead and plunge it now if you wanted, if you want to be simple, but I find that it makes a cleaner cup of coffee if you scoop this stuff off first. So I'll scoop up all the foam and bits that are floating on top, because they tend to just make their way through the filter and just make a cloudier cup of coffee. And then once you've done that, looks pretty good, that's when I'll plunge it. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. You could plunge, with most French presses, you plunge all the way to the bottom and crush the grinds against the bottom. I find that it just stirs up the coffee and then just makes a cloudier cup again. So I like to plunge just into the liquid, just enough to kind of hold it back, and that's it. If you choose to go all the way in, you can feel free. Really, for me, I like to have a really clean cup of coffee, and French press gives you really great body, but sometimes you lose the clarity and it becomes a really cloudy cup. So I like to try and avoid that. So then the last little thing you can do if you've got the time, you can let it sit for another minute. You'll notice the coffee just keeps settling over time to the bottom, so you're going to get a cleaner and cleaner cup the longer you wait. Now you also might run the risk of over extracting if you wait too long, so I wouldn't do much more than a minute. But otherwise, if you just want to get drinking, simply pour your coffee. And you'll see what's coming out of there is a much cleaner cup than maybe what you're used to with other French press coffee makers. And the last little tip that I like to recommend, if you leave extra coffee in the coffee maker, it's gonna keep extracting just because it's in contact with hot water. So for the best cup of coffee, I recommend pouring almost all of it off, or as much as you can, into your cups. So there's a little bit left in there. I'm gonna let it go because I've got my 2 cups here. And then my last tip, and I think everybody's guilty of this, if you've got a French press, you've probably done this before. You feel lazy, you've already plunged it, you just want to go drink your coffee and get on with your day, and you end up leaving a dirty French press for hours or maybe even overnight. What that ends up doing is leaving a lot of sludge in the metal parts of the French press, which are really hard to clean out. And over time, you're gonna get a buildup of oils, and it just makes your French press taste less clean over time. So I really recommend, if you can, at the very least, leave the plunger up out of the sludge, so at least it's not submerged in sludge. Or if you can, take it apart, clean it off, and get on with your day. Somebody's coming into the studio right now, so I gotta go. Cheers.